Chandamama Mahabharata, Part 36. The story of Savitri and Satyavan. While the Pandavas were residing in the Kamyaka forest after humiliating and sending away Sandhava, Markandeya arrived. Dharmaraja told him about the hardships they were enduring and the sufferings Draupadi was going through along with them and asked, "O great soul, has any devoted wife in the past ever suffered hardships like Draupadi?" Then, Markandeya narrated the story of Savitri to the Pandavas as follows. In the past, a righteous king named Ashwapti ruled the Madra kingdom. He had no children, and therefore, he worshipped the goddess Savitri with strict austerities and performed homas. Finally, goddess Savitri appeared from the homa fire and asked what he desired. To that, Ashwapti said, "O goddess, I desire sons who will uplift my lineage. O king, knowing your desire, I have already asked Brahma. He consented to give you only one daughter. Therefore, consider that itself as a great blessing and be satisfied." Saying this, goddess Savitri vanished. Ashwapti concluded his penance, returned to the city, and while he was ruling the kingdom as usual, his wife Malavi became pregnant and gave birth to a beautiful baby girl at an auspicious time. Ashwapti performed her birth rites and named her Savitri. Savitri grew up with great affection, and her beauty kept increasing day by day to such an extent that onlookers were under the illusion whether she was a celestial woman or if goddess Savitri herself had taken a human birth. One day, Ashwapti said to her, "Mother, you have reached the age of marriage. For some reason, not a single prince is coming forward to marry you. You yourself choose a suitable husband and tell me. I will give you to him and fulfill my duty." Searching for a man worthy of being her husband, Savitri mounted a chariot and set out along the hermitages where royal sages resided. While Savitri was traveling like that, one day the great sage Narada came to Ashwapti and began telling the news of the world. While Narada was still there, Savitri completed her tour and returned home. As she bowed to her father and Narada and stood there, Narada asked Ashwapti, "King, from where is your daughter returning? Why have you not yet arranged a marriage for this girl who has come of age?" "O Lord of sages, I sent her to find a husband. I must ask and find out whom she has chosen," Ashwapti said. And then addressing his daughter, "Mother, is the task for which you went accomplished?" Savitri said to her father like this, "A great king named Dyumatsena, who ruled the Salva kingdom for a long time, had a son in his old age. Unfortunately, Dyumatsena was struck with blindness. Taking advantage of that, enemies who were previously defeated by Dyumatsena seized his kingdom. That old king, taking his old wife and young son along, is living in the forests and performing penance. Having grown up in the hermitages since childhood, Dyumatsena's son grew up like a sage's son, devoid of any cruel intentions, always speaking the truth, and earned the name Satyavan. I have chosen that Satyavan as my husband and returned." Hearing these words, Narada said, "Alas, what a pity. Savitri has unknowingly chosen that young man as her husband." Then Ashwapti asked, "O Lord of sages, there is nothing unknown to you. What kind of a person is this Satyavan? How are his character, appearance, and conduct?" To that, Narada replied, "King, Dyumatsena's son is devoted to truth just like his parents. He makes toy horses very well, and therefore he is also called Chitrasva. His handsome looks are no less than those of the Ashwini deities, and he is endowed with all good qualities. But his lifespan is only 1 more year. Exactly 1 year from today, his life will come to an end." Disturbed by these words, Ashwapti said, "Mother, leave that short-lived man and choose someone else. Once someone is chosen with purity of thought, word, and deed, whether he has a short life or a long life, whether he is of good conduct or bad conduct, it is not possible to choose another. I will not leave Satyavan and choose another. Give me to him alone in marriage," said Savitri to her father. Narada also said to Ashwapti, "King, your daughter is of firm resolve, and it is not possible for you to change her mind. If you ask me, there is no one among the kings of today who can be said to be equal to Satyavan. Give Savitri in marriage to him. If her good merit is strong, Satyavan might become long-lived. May good fortune prevail." Saying this, he departed for heaven. In accordance with Narada's words, Ashwapti resolved to give his daughter in marriage to Satyavan, and taking Savitri along with relatives, friends, and an entourage, he went to Dyumatsena's hermitage. The aged and elderly Dyumatsena was sitting in the shade of a terminalia tree. Ashwapti said to him, "Great king, I have come resolving to give my daughter Savitri in marriage to your son. Accept her as your daughter-in-law." "King, we have lost our kingdom and are living in this forest. Your daughter is delicate, Will she be able to endure hardships with us, said Dyumatsena. Joys and sorrows are not under human control. My daughter knows that truth. We have come after considering the hardships and joys. My daughter and your son are suitable for each other. Let us become relatives through this marriage, said Ashwapti. Dyumatsena was pleased, gathered all the sages present in his hermitage, and conducted the marriage of Savitri and Satyavan at an auspicious time. Ashwapti returned to his city. As soon as her father went back, Savitri removed her fine garments and ornaments, and along with her husband, she too wore clothes made of bark, disregarding physical fatigue, served her parents-in-law and her husband in every way, and spent her time speaking few words. But she kept counting her husband's lifespan dwindling away day by day. When, according to Narada's words, Satyavan's lifespan had only 4 days left, she began a fast for 3 nights. Mother, you are delicate to begin with. Why did you start such a vow? I do not have the heart to ask you to stop this harsh vow, Dyumatsena said to Savitri. As long as there is firm resolve, any arduous task can be carried out without hindrance. I started this vow with firm resolve alone, said Savitri. More than the fatigue of the fast, Savitri was overwhelmed by the grief that death was approaching her husband. The 3 nights passed. According to Narada's words, the final day in Satyavan's life dawned. That day, Savitri woke up at the crack of dawn, and as soon as the sun rose, she ignited the fire and performed the homa, bowed to her parents-in-law and the other elders in the hermitage, received their blessings to remain a married woman for a long time, and sat sadly thinking about the impending death of her husband. Mother, your vow is complete now. Why do you not break your fast? The parents-in-law asked Savitri. For this vow, the fast must be broken only after sunset, Savitri replied. Satyavan was setting out into the forest with an axe on his shoulder to bring sacred firewood, flowers, and fruits. Then Savitri approached him and said, I too will come. Today, I do not feel like staying away from you. You foolish girl, you do not know how the forest is. The paths there are full of stones and thorns. Besides, having fasted for 3 days, you are exhausted, said Satyavan. I have no exhaustion due to the fast. For some reason I feel like roaming in the forest today. Do not object, said Savitri. As you wish. But if my mother and father agree, then come along with me. The blame will not be on me, said Satyavan. Savitri expressed her desire to her father-in-law. It has been almost a year since I came, and my desire to see the forest remains unfulfilled. Let me go along with my husband today, she asked. Considering that she had never asked for anything before, Dyumatsena told Savitri to go along with Satyavan. With the permission of her parents-in-law, Savitri, though carrying a mountain of sorrow in her heart, appearing cheerful on the outside, set out into the forest along with Satyavan. As Satyavan walked showing the beauties of the forest, Savitri began to feel as though he had already passed away. Satyavan plucked a basket full of flowers and fruits and began chopping wood. Within a short time, he became exhausted, and his whole body broke into a sweat. He threw the axe aside, came to Savitri, and said, My head is splitting, my body is swaying. I am unable to stand, I will lie down for a while. Savitri offered her lap to place his head and let him lie down. After a while, Savitri saw a figure near Satyavan. That person was dark, had red eyes, wore blue garments, held a noose in his hand, and appeared terrifying to look at. As soon as she saw him, she removed Satyavan's head from her lap and placed it down, stood up, bowed to him, and asked, Sir, who are you? Why have you come? Mother, I am Yam, and because you are a devoted wife, you were able to see me. Satyavan's lifespan has ended. Because he is a highly righteous man, I did not send messengers for him but came myself. Saying so, Yam extracted the thumb-sized soul from Satyavan's body with his noose and set out towards the south. Savitri secured her husband's body and set out following Yam. Yam told her to go back, but Savitri said that wherever her husband went, she too would go there, and that it was her duty. Yam was pleased and said to Savitri, Ask for any boon other than the life of your husband. My father-in-law has become old and blind. Grant him his vision and physical strength, said Savitri. Yam agreed, but Savitri did not stop following Yam. To rid himself of her, Yam asked her to choose another boon. Savitri asked for the boon that her father-in-law, who had lost his kingdom, should regain his kingdom. Yam agreed. Even then, she did not stop following Yam. Yam asked her to seek another boon. Savitri asked for male offspring for her father. Yam granted the boon that Ashwapti would have 100 sons. Noticing that Savitri was still not going back, Yam said he would give her a fourth boon. Savitri asked to be blessed with 100 sons so that the lineage of herself and Satyavan would flourish. You shall have 100 sons. Now go back, said Yam. If that is so, give back my husband's life, said Savitri. Yam restored Satyavan's life and departed. Savitri returned to the place where her husband's body lay and sat down, placing his head on her lap. After a while, Satyavan opened his eyes, looked into Savitri's face and said, "Did I sleep for a long time? I had a dream that some dark man took me far away. I will tell you all that later. It is getting dark. If you can get up and walk, let us go to the hermitage," said Savitri. Savitri had to lift him and make him stand. He did not have the strength to carry the basket, so she hung it on a tree branch and gently guiding him, finding the way in the moonlight, she brought him to the hermitage. In the hermitage, Dyumatsena, who had suddenly regained his sight, became anxious as his son and daughter-in-law had not returned even after dark, and along with his wife, calling out the names of their son and daughter-in-law, set out towards the forest. Meanwhile, Savitri and Satyavan arrived. By this time, many people had gathered at the hermitage. Savitri told everyone all that had happened. Yam's boons did not go in vain. Dyumatsena regained his kingdom. Ashwapti had sons. Savitri and Satyavan also had sons. Markandeya narrated this story to the Pandavas, saying, "By Draupadi's wifely devotion, your hardships will vanish," and he went on his way. Chandamama Mahabharata, Part 36 is complete. For now, Swasti.